Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Mark Lynn. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. World leaders condole the death of Pope Francis. Prime Minister Modi says, deeply pained, recalls his Vatican visit. US Vice President J.D. Vance begins his 4-day India visit, visits the Swaminarayan Akshardham temple with his family. Prime Minister Narendra Modi addresses the 17th Civil Services Day, says policies of the government are working on, that the government is working on will shape the future in the next 1,000 years. And Indian stock markets witness a sharp rally, rising for the 5th consecutive session. As IT banking stocks rally, the Sensex settles 855 points higher. The Nifty is about 24,100. Pope Francis has died at the age of 88, the Vatican said on Monday. Pope Francis was elected Pope in 2013 and became the first pontiff from the Americas and the first Jesuit to lead the Roman Catholic Church. He succeeded Pope Benedict XVI, who made the rare decision to step down from the papacy, the first to do so in nearly 600 years. Francis was admitted to the hospital on February 14 with a severe respiratory infection. The 88-year-old Pope was hospitalized for 5 weeks, suffering from double pneumonia. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has condoled the passing of Pope Francis. In a social media post, the Prime Minister said he was deeply pained by the passing of His Holiness Pope Francis. He hailed him as a beacon of compassion, humility and spiritual courage. Further, Prime Minister Modi said that Pope Francis diligently served the poor and downtrodden and was a spirit of hope to those who were suffering. The Prime Minister also recalled his meetings with the Pope and said that he was greatly inspired by his commitment to inclusive and all-round development. His affection for the people of India will always be cherished. As the leader of the largest sect of Christianity, Pope Francis has departed for his heavenly abode. The world is reacting profoundly to his passing. On the social media platform X, the EU chief Ursula von der Leyen remarked that the Pope inspired millions. Russian President Vladimir Putin hailed Pope Francis as a defender of humanism and justice, while Israel Prime Minister Michael Martin said that he spoke out for the poor, the marginalized and the oppressed. Other leaders who expressed their condolences include the French President Macron, the Israeli President Herzog, and many more. Pope Francis passed away at the age of 88. He made his final appearance on Easter Sunday before his death. Francis led the Catholic Church for over a decade, becoming the first Jesuit and the first Latin American to hold the papacy.
Pope Francis was born Jorge Mario Bergoglio on the 17th of December 1936 in Buenos Aires. He became the 266th Pope of the Roman Catholic Church. He was the first Pope from Latin America and the first Jesuit Pope, a Society of Jesus, a Roman Catholic religious order of men. He was known for his humility, dedication to social justice, and efforts to reform the Church. Pope Francis made a significant impact on the global stage. Jorge Mario Bergoglio was born into a middle-class family of Italian immigrants. He initially pursued a career as a chemical technician before feeling a strong calling to priesthood. In 1958, he entered the Jesuit order and began his formal religious education. He studied humanity and obtained a licentiate in philosophy in Buenos Aires. He taught literature and psychology at the high school level. Bergoglio was ordained a priest on the 13th of December 1969. He made his final vows as a Jesuit in 1973 and served as the superior of the Argentine Jesuit province. During this period, he was deeply involved in education and spiritual leadership, promoting Christian values and social justice. Later, Bergoglio was appointed auxiliary bishop of Buenos Aires and became the Archbishop of Buenos Aires in 1998 and was consecrated as a cardinal in 2001. As Archbishop, he focused on uplifting the community, social outreach, and advocating for poor and marginalized. On the 13th of March 2013, Bergoglio was elected Pope, taking the name Francis in honor of Saint Francis of Assisi, who is known for his service to the poor. His papacy has been marked by a commitment to humility, social justice, and environmental stewardship. Pope Francis consistently advocated for the rights of the poor and migrants, emphasizing the Church's duty to stand by them. He implemented significant internal reforms within the Vatican and addressed various global issues, including climate change and interfaith dialogue. As Archbishop of Buenos Aires, a diocese with more than 3 million inhabitants, he conceived of a missionary project based on communion and spreading the Catholic faith. He had four main goals: open and brotherly communities, an informed lay community playing a lead role, taking the message of Jesus to every inhabitant of the city, and assistance to the poor and the sick. Bureau Report, DD India.
Well, the U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance is in India on a 4-day official visit. He is accompanied by his wife Usha Vance, their children, and a delegation of senior U.S. government officials. This is Vice President Vance's first visit to India. The U.S. Vice President and the Second Lady were received at the Palam Air Base by the Railways and Information Broadcasting and IT Minister Ashwini Vaishnav, and the American leader was also accorded a ceremonial welcome on his arrival. J.D. Vance's children were dressed in traditional Indian attire. J.D. Vance's visit from the 21st to the 24th of April, spanning Delhi, Jaipur and Agra, is expected to further deepen India-US comprehensive global strategic partnership. The U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance and his wife Usha, along with their children, visited Swaminarayan Akshardham Temple in New Delhi. Their first stop in India, experiencing its majestic art, architecture and timeless values of faith, family and harmony. The U.S. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth shared details of a March attack on Yemen's Iran-aligned Houthis. This was in a message group on the social media platform Signal. Reported by the New York Times on Sunday, the group included his wife, brother and personal lawyer, which has raised questions about Hegseth's use of an unclassified messaging system to share highly sensitive security details. The report said that Hegseth shared flight schedules for the March 15 strikes in a Signal chat that included close personal contacts. The information mirrors details previously leaked in a separate chat that mistakenly included the Atlantic's editor-in-chief. Hegseth's wife has also reportedly attended meetings with foreign military officials. The leak investigation has led to the removal of the advisor Dan Caldwell from the Pentagon and placed 2 other officials on administrative leave. The Kremlin said on Monday that the position of the U.S. President Donald Trump's administration on ruling out NATO membership for Ukraine gave Moscow satisfaction. The U.S. envoy, General Keith Kellogg, said on Sunday that NATO membership was off the table for Ukraine. Speaking on a peace deal, Kellogg said that a minerals deal was part of the solution for a comprehensive ceasefire and permanent peace deal. Meanwhile, President Trump has repeatedly said that previous U.S. support for Ukraine's bid to join NATO was a cause of the conflict.
We've got too many other issues in the world that the United States must be involved in, and this war has gone on way too long. But I think there's an opportunity. We presented what I would call a term sheet. This is what it looks like going forward to the Ukrainians. They went back to Kyiv. They're going to come back next week in London. We're going to sit down and say, what does this look like? Then we turned to the Russians and said, okay, what does your term sheet look like? Then you put it together. Let me give you one example. The example is we've been very clear. NATO's off the table. You're not going to be part of NATO. That's something that's not new. We've been talking about that since 2008 when Ambassador Burns told Condoleezza Rice this was a bridge too far.
Well, on the ground, Ukraine's military has reported a wave of Russian drone attacks across several regions overnight. These strikes came just hours after the end of a 30-hour Easter truce, which was declared unilaterally by Moscow. Russia's defense ministry has confirmed the resumption of combat operations, insisting that its forces had strictly observed the ceasefire and remained at previously held positions. Air raid alerts have been issued across several regions, including the capital Kiev, as well as in Kherson and Zaporizhia. Ukraine's Air Force sounded the alarms amid reports of renewed military activity. In the southern city of Mykolaiv, explosions were reported. The El Salvador President Nayib Bukele, he's proposed sending 252 Venezuelans deported from the United States and imprisoned in his country to Venezuela in exchange for taking political prisoners held by Venezuela. The El Salvadoran leader, he did not say whether the prisoners would be incarcerated again upon an exchange. Bukele also mentioned nearly 50 detainees of other nationalities, including US, German, and French citizens, as part of the proposed exchange. Last month, the administration of the United States, President Trump's administration, deported at least 200 Venezuelans from the United States to El Salvador, accusing them of being members of a criminal gang. Still to come here on DD India Live. More than 14,000 Filipino and American soldiers begin annual military exercises. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman interacts with Indian diaspora in San Francisco in the United States. Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the Economic Brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Mark Lin. Now, more than 14,000 Filipino and American soldiers commenced annual military exercises on Monday with an opening ceremony. These exercises take place amid security concerns in the region, including rising tensions in the South China Sea. The annual Balikatan drills, they are, it means in fact soldier to soldier, that's what the word means in Tagalog, and they will run for 3 weeks until May 9, showcasing an array of US weaponry. The drills include defending against missile threats, preventing sea invasions, and conducting a maritime strike test by sinking a decommissioned Filipino vessel, a naval vessel. On the occasion of the 17th Civil Services Day, Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed the civil servants in New Delhi. The Prime Minister also conferred the Prime Minister's Awards for Excellence in Public Administration. 16 awards were given by the Prime Minister in categories of holistic development of districts, aspirational blocks, program and innovation to civil servants. They were recognized for their work done for the welfare of the common citizens. Through this, the Prime Minister said that India is seeking new benchmarks in governance, transparency and innovation.
हमने 3400 से ज्यादा लीगल प्रोविजंस को भी डीक्रिमिनलाइज कर दिया है। मुझे याद है जब हम कंप्लायंसेस का बर्डन कम करने के लिए काम कर रहे थे, जब व्यापार कारोबार के दौरान होने वाली कुछ गलतियों को डीक्रिमिनलाइज कर रहे थे, तो मेरे लिए आश्चर्य था, कुछ कोने में विरोध के स्वर भी उठा करते थे। कई लोग कहते थे आज तक नहीं हुआ, आप क्यों कर रहे हैं, चलता है चलने दो, इससे आपको क्या फर्क पड़ता है, कंप्लायंस करने दीजिए, आप क्यों अपना काम खुद बढ़ा रहे हैं। चारों तरफ से चर्चाएं चलती थी, दबाव आते थे, लेकिन जिस लक्ष्य को प्राप्त करना था उस लक्ष्य का दबाव इन दबावों से ज्यादा था।
PM Modi stressed that in the past 10 years, India has moved beyond incremental change to witness impactful transformation. The Prime Minister added that in the age of technology, governance is not about managing systems, it's about multiplying possibilities.
संवेदनशील रहिए, गरीब की आवाज सुनिए, गरीब की तकलीफ समझिए, उनका समाधान करना अपनी प्राथमिकता बनाइए। जैसे अतिथि देवो भव होता है, वैसे ही नागरिक देवो भव, इस मंत्र को लेकर के हमें चलना है। आपको सिर्फ भारत के सिविल सर्वेंट्स के रूप में ही नहीं, विकसित भारत के शिल्पकार के रूप में अपने दायित्व के लिए तैयार करना है।
During his two-day visit to Saudi Arabia, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will also visit a dates factory employing Indian workers there. The country is home to roughly 2.7 million Indians. Amritpal Singh was there at this factory in Jeddah and he spoke to the workers.
With a 2.7 million strong Indian diaspora living and working here in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has the second highest diaspora anywhere in the world. I'm here right now in Jeddah and outside a factory which Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be visiting on Wednesday when he comes calling on Saudi Arabia on Tuesday and Wednesday for a two-day visit. The Prime Minister shall be coming here and interacting with the workers in this factory. This is the floor of the processing plant or the factory of dates, which this third generation of Indians whose grandfather migrated here started with trading but later went into farming and production and now employs thousands of workers, not just from India but also from the subcontinent and also from Saudi Arabia, working in various capacities. A general perception is that Saudi society is very restrictive. Women do not have the kind of liberties that are seen in other parts of the world. But what we see here belies that. You see these young girls who are Saudi nationals working in this plant owned by Indian entrepreneurs. In fact, I have with me Lama Hafza, who's herself a Saudi national. She's the marketing manager here. Are the gender roles changing in Saudi Arabia when you started or when you were growing up?
Actually, by government, I'm just going to explain it in a nutshell. Working as a female gives you more points in the government itself. So all the companies are now directing towards like having more females.
I have with me Salman Vasaiwala. He is an entrepreneur here. You or your family generate employment and actually contribute to the economy of Saudi Arabia, don't you?
Correct, definitely. Yeah. Now, a lot has changed in the past 50 years. We've gone from trading into manufacturing, farming, distribution, and also with the new Vision 2030 coming up, Saudi Arabia has improved and is supporting us a lot.
The Prime Minister is coming here, visiting your factory, interacting with the workers. What sort of confidence does it inspire in the Indian diaspora working here?
No, actually, they're very excited. All the workers, they're honored. You know, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
हमारा देश का PM आएगा सर, बहुत खुशी की बात है सर. हमारा कंपनी में देख के जानकारी लेंगे सर, अच्छा लगेगा. बहुत खुशी की बात है सर. हमारा देश का PM है, गौरव है सर.
This sentiment that when the Prime Minister of the country comes and interacts with general factory workers, farm workers, ordinary people living outside their country. It inspires. With cameraman Saurabh Bakshi, this is Amritpal Singh for DD India in Jeddah.
Well, Saudi Arabia ranks as India's fifth largest trading partner, while India holds the position of Saudi Arabia's second largest trading partner. In the financial year 2023-24, India imported from Saudi Arabia about $31.42 billion worth, and exports stood at $11.56 billion. Ahead of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Saudi Arabia starting Tuesday, Ali Mohammed Ali, who's a representative of the Jeddah Chamber of Commerce, he shared his insights on trade and commercial opportunities between India and Saudi Arabia.
We are very happy to know that our Prime Minister is going to visit Saudi Arabia. This is actually going to create a very positive impact between India and Saudi relationship. For the previous year, between 2023 and 2024, both the countries have combined about $43 billion trade, and India is actually expecting that this is going to reach up to $100 billion within the next few years. Apart from this bilateral relationship, Indian investors have a lot of opportunities in Saudi Arabia, where they can invest in energy, infrastructure, petrochemicals, real estate, IT, etc. And also, a part of these investments, Saudi Arabia is also actually going to benefit a lot of opportunities apart from export and imports.
Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman interacted with the Indian diaspora at a community gathering in San Francisco in California. She stressed on connecting with the Indian diaspora across the globe, citing Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision of making it a part of his every overseas visit to strike and connect with, to strike that chord and connect with the Indian diaspora.
Prime Minister makes it a part of every one of his overseas visit to connect with the Indian diaspora, because he thinks that's the most important thing, that India should be able to stand up with sense of pride and connect with each one of you all who are in whichever part of the world doing your best to contribute to the world and therefore stand out as an example.
Let's take a look at other stories making the news. In India's eastern state of Jharkhand, around 8 Naxals have been killed in an encounter between Naxalites and a joint team of the police and paramilitary forces in the foothills of Lugu Hill in Bokhara. Now, what happened is that an AK series rifle, 1 SLR, 3 Insas rifles, 1 pistol and 8 country-made Bharmar rifles, they were also, and other weapons were also recovered from there. The Indian Army has launched swift and coordinated relief operations in Jammu and Kashmir's Ramban district. This is as a response to that cloudburst and intense rainfall over there. The restoration operation is to assist affected civilians and restore connectivity along the National Highway 44. The Army personnel have extended support by distributing tea and hot meals, offering temporary shelter, as well as providing basic medical aid to those in need. As envisioned by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Project Cheetah has now expanded to the Gandhi Sagar Wildlife Sanctuary. 2 cheetahs were released into the Gandhi Sagar Wildlife Sanctuary in Mandsaur district of Madhya Pradesh by the Chief Minister Mohan Yadav on Sunday. The cheetahs, 6 years old, a 6-year-old male named Pavak and another one named Prabhash. They had been brought from South Africa in February of 2023 and were stationed at the Kuno National Park before being moved to this sanctuary. The Indian equity indices have ended on a positive note amid volatility on Monday. So at close, in fact, the Sensex was up 855 points. It settled at 79,408.50. The Nifty had surged 273.90 points and has ended at 24,125.55. The Indian rupee jumped 25 paise to settle at 85.13 against the US dollar. Gold hit a fresh record high of rupees 96,747 per 10 grams in early deals in India on Monday amid persisting concerns over the economic impact of the ongoing trade war. The dollar's weakness against the peers also supported gold prices. International spot gold prices had hit a record high of $3,384 during the season and the session as investors had continued rushing for safe haven assets and mounting concerns over the escalating US-China trade war. The dollar's weakness is also a key factor supporting gold prices. Gold is priced in dollars. When the US currency weakens, gold is cheaper in other currencies, enhancing its demand. The Board of Control for Cricket in India, the BCCI, has announced the annual player contracts for 2024-25. The Test captain Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli, Jasprit Bumrah and Ravindra Jadeja have been named in the Grade A plus category. Shreyas Iyer and Ishan Kishan return, while Rishabh Pant has been promoted. Iyer has been given a Grade B contract, whereas Ishan has been awarded a Grade C contract. The wicketkeeper batter Rishabh Pant has been promoted to a Grade A contract. A total of 34 players have been included in various categories. This annual player contract system is applicable from the 1st of October 2024 to the 30th of September 2025. Kolkata Knight Riders will lock horns with Gujarat Titans in the Indian Premier League in Kolkata on Monday. The defending champions need to focus on their batting. The likes of Ajinkya Rahane, Quinton de Kock, Venkatesh Iyer and Ankrish Raghuvanshi, they have been inconsistent. The form of Rinku Singh and Andre Russell are also a concern. The bowlers have been sensational. Vaibhav Arora, Varun Chakravarti and Sunil Narain are in top-notch form. On the other hand, the table toppers Gujarat Titans have been excellent. Their top three batters, Shubman Gill, Sai Sudarshan and Jos Buttler, have been spectacular. Among the bowlers, Prasidh Krishna has been the most consistent, while Mohammad Siraj and Sai Kishore have been impactful. That's all we have in this edition of DD India Live. Share your thoughts with us on the news of the day. And for those of you on the go, get the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code and download it. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Mark Lynn. From all of us here in Delhi, thank you very much for watching DD India Live. Namaskar.